Welcome, everyone, to TechDaily.ai. This deep dive is sponsored by Stonefly. They're your trusted solution provider and advisor for pretty much everything enterprise IT, storage, backup, disaster recovery, hyperconverged setups like VMware, Hyper-V, Proxmox clusters, even AI servers, plus SA365, that turnkey security appliance, and public and private cloud solutions. You can find out more over at stonefly.com. So today we are dissecting Apple's iOS 26 Beta 3. We're going to really dive into that flashy new liquid glass design. Is it genuinely a leap forward, or are early users finding some maybe unexpected bumps in the road usability-wise? We'll also get into the real-world feel of running it, the performance, the battery, giving you the essential insights you need. All right, let's break down this new visual direction Apple's taking with iOS 26. This liquid glass design language is quite a shift, isn't it, from that flat look we've had since, what, iOS 7?
Oh, yeah, big time. It's aiming to mimic actual glass, with refractions. It's supposed to feel more dynamic. And what was really compelling, I thought, was how they showed it off at WWDC initially. All those intricate details.
Wow.
Geo-elements reacting subtly to movement. It promised this, new sense of depth. Almost a nod back to skeuomorphism, but very modern, focused on light.
Right, that initial demo is pretty slick. But here's where Beta 3 gets interesting. While the core idea, liquid glass, it's still there. Users are definitely spotting changes, significant ones. Things like the control center, the tab bar in some apps.
Yeah.
They were pretty see-through before, right? Now they look more frosted.
Exactly. Frosted is a good word for it. It definitely looks like they're toning down that raw transparency. And that immediately makes you think about that classic design tension, doesn't it? Aesthetics versus usability.
Totally.
Feedback from developers on the earlier betas, it really highlighted that struggle. People love the look of that pseudo-transparent glass, but...
It could be hard to read text sometimes, yeah. Or even see buttons, clearly.
Precisely. Legibility issues, accessibility concerns. So this move towards frosted suggests Apple's maybe leaning back towards function over just pure visual wow factor. It's a balancing act they've done before in iOS. And you see the debate online, right? Some miss the original look. Others want that frosted glass for clarity. Some are even asking for a slider to choose.
A slider would be interesting. Besides the liquid glass stuff, Beta 3 has other little visual tweaks too, right?
Yeah, some nice refinements. New default wallpaper colors. There's Dusk, which has this cool pink and purple mix, plus Halo, Shadow, and the original Sky. So more personalization there.
Okay. And I saw something about the home screen dock.
Oh yeah, a minor fix, but welcome. Icons are centered again, even if you only have 2 or 3 down there. Looks cleaner.
Good. And for iPad users.
Ah, yeah, that's a neat one. If you lose your mouse cursor, just give the physical mouse a quick shake, and the cursor gets huge for a second. Makes it easy to spot.
Oh, like on the Mac. That's handy on a big screen.
Exactly. Small thing, big help sometimes.
Okay, so we've talked about the look, the aesthetics. But how does it actually feel to use iOS 26 Beta 3 day-to-day? Because that's the real test. And from what I'm hearing, it's, it's a beta, a bit of a mixed bag. Performance issues and definitely battery life complaints.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And yeah, mixed bag is probably fair. You have to remember, these beta versions are still very much works in progress. They aren't optimized yet. So yeah, you expect things like faster battery drain, apps might crash or freeze more,
Right.
maybe Wi-Fi or Bluetooth act up. Performance can feel sluggish.
Even overheating?
Overheating too, yeah.
Huh.
During normal use or especially when charging. It's all part of the beta territory, unfortunately. Especially those first few days after you install it. That's often the roughest patch.
Well, why is that?
Well, there's a ton of background stuff happening. The system's re-indexing everything, files are being sorted, and on the newer devices, it might be installing or re-optimizing things like Apple Intelligence.
Ah, the new AI stuff. That must use a lot of power.
Exactly. All that background activity eats battery and can generate heat. But typically after a few days, maybe a week, things usually settle down as those processes finish and Apple pushes updates.
Okay, typical beta stuff. But some reports sound maybe a bit more intense than usual. We've seen people saying their iPhones are getting genuinely hot to touch and battery life just tanking. Like one user mentioned their iPhone 16 Pro Max dropping 10% in an hour, even in low power mode.
Wow, yeah, that's significant drain.
And others with the 15 Pro seeing major battery hits and heat, even without MagSafe involved. It sounds like more than just indexing sometimes. I remember one beta years ago, my phone got so hot I was actually worried.
And that's a fair point. While some level is expected, the severity and the consistency of these reports, especially on newer Pro models, it might point to something deeper.
Yeah.
Could be the demands of rendering that liquid glass stuff, maybe?
Right.
Or perhaps optimizing the new Apple Intelligence framework is proving tricky. This is exactly why these beta cycles are so vital for Apple. They get that real-world data, helps them pinpoint these heavy resource users. It's not just about letting the phone settle. There's probably actual optimization work needed under the hood.
So, okay, what does this mean for you, the listener? If you're thinking about trying the beta or you're already in it and feeling the heat, literally,
Yeah.
what can you actually do?
Right. Practical steps. If you're a seasoned beta tester, you probably know this, but it's always good to review. For that battery drain, yeah, low power mode is step one, but also try manually lowering your screen brightness way down. And maybe turn off background app refresh for apps you don't need constantly updating.
Good tips. What about connectivity issues? Wi-Fi dropping or Bluetooth being flaky?
Often, just resetting your network settings can fix that. It's a bit annoying because you have to re-enter Wi-Fi passwords, but it frequently clears out glitches.
And the overheating, besides not using it while charging.
Take off any thick cases they trap heat. Avoid really intensive tasks like heavy gaming or video editing for long stretches while it's hot.
Right.
Give the phone a break.
Simple stuff, and if the screen just stops responding.
The classic freeze.
Ah.
A forced restart usually does the trick. You have the button combo depending on your model. That's like first aid for iPhones. But, and this is important, if the heat or the battery life is just making the phone unusable for you, rolling back to the stable public release is always an option. Don't feel like you have to suffer through it.
Good point. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. The whole reason for betas isn't just for us to play with new stuff, right? It's about feedback for Apple. Let's talk about that. Apple's feedback assistant tool. How crucial is that in this whole process? It's basically how you can tell Apple what's wrong or what you think.
It's absolutely vital. And understanding how to give good feedback makes a huge difference. Apple really encourages people, developers, and public testers to submit feedback early, especially with betas. The sooner they know about a bug,
The more likely they are to fix it before the final release.
exactly. And don't think, oh, this bug is so obvious someone else must have reported it. Submit it anyway. More reports on the same issue help Apple gauge the impact. It bumps up the priority.
Makes sense. So how do you actually do it? There's an app, right?
Yep. The Feedback Assistant app, it's right there on your iPhone, iPad, Mac, if you've installed the beta profile. It's pretty smart, too. It can automatically grab diagnostic logs from your device. You can even use it to file reports for connected things like your Apple Watch or Apple TV.
And it guides you through it.
Yeah, it has detailed forms. The key things are, pick the right category for your issue. Only report one issue per feedback submission. Don't lump things together. And write a clear, concise title, like Settings app crashes when tapping Wi-Fi networks. Something specific.
Okay, so be specific. What else makes for a really helpful report?
Details, details, details. Give them step-by-step instructions on how to make the bug happen again, reliably. Describe what actually happens and then what you expect it to happen.
Right, actual versus expected.
And mention anything else that might be relevant. Are you signed into iCloud? Using specific accessibility features, anything unusual about your setup, and definitely attach the diagnostic files the app usually prompts you for sysdiagnose. Plus, screenshots, or even better, a screen recording showing the bug happen. Visuals help enormously.
So be thorough. What happens after you submit it? Do you get updates?
You get a Feedback Assistant ID number so you can track it, but manage your expectations. Apple usually doesn't give, like, weekly progress reports. You'll typically only see the status change when they think they have a fix in a future beta, or if they close the investigation. Statuses like open, potential fix identified, or investigation complete, it can take time.
Patience is key then. Now, before anyone even thinks about installing a beta, there's one crucial step, right?
Oh, absolutely. The golden rule. Back up your device always, 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 always.
Say it again for the people in the back.
Back it up. Seriously, this is non-negotiable, especially if you might need to downgrade back to the stable version later.
Why is that so critical?
Because downgrading iOS wipes your iPhone completely, erases everything. If you don't have a recent backup from before you installed the beta, you will lose data, period. So back up first. Computer or iCloud, just do it.
Got it. And just quickly, which devices can even run iOS 26?
Okay, so for iOS 26, it's iPhones from the iPhone 11 onwards. And then similarly, recent iPads for iPadOS 26, Apple Watches for watchOS, Apple TVs, Vision Pro. That's part of their new naming scheme, right? iOS 26 means the software platform for devices primarily launching in the 2026 product cycle year, supposed to make compatibility clearer.
Right, makes sense. So, wrapping this all up, this deep dive into iOS 26 Beta 3, it really does show that tension, doesn't it, between pushing the boundaries with cool new stuff like liquid glass and the practical side of making sure it actually works well.
Yeah, the reality of software development.
It's a good reminder that trying out the latest tech often means hitting a few bumps, but it's also where you, the user, actually get to play a part in making it better. You're not just using it, your feedback helps shape it.
It's exactly. When you understand the beta process, when you know how to give good feedback, when you protect your own data, you become more than just someone using the software. You're actively participating in refining the tech we all end up using every day, helping find that sweet spot between exciting innovation and just working reliably.
So, maybe something for you to think about as software keeps evolving. What kind of feedback do you think is most vital for developers like Apple to hear? And how can we, as a whole community of users, make sure our voices effectively guide that balance between the cutting edge and everyday usability? Before we go, just one more reminder about our sponsor, Stonefly. They've got a really compelling offer, a 100 TB immutable and air-gapped SSO NAS for just $8,995. That is some serious storage muscle for that price point. Definitely check them out at stonefly.com for more info on that and all their other enterprise solutions. And that's it for this deep dive. Thanks so much for joining us.